Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the ABS show, coming straight to you from New York City. Welcome to our channel. Make sure to subscribe, and after the show, go on Instagram and follow us at the ABS show. Throughout the show, you can join in on the conversation by commenting below, okay? Hi everyone.
Hi, Shirley.
All right, so I'm super excited about today's...
I see that red.
Oh,
so
thank you. And I see you
Shoot
too
us.
with a mohawk. So I want us to talk about this topic because, you know, it's really important. It's about stereotype. And there's a writer called George Rubbles. He wrote an emotional piece about stereotype. And I really want us to discuss it. So this is what he said. I personally hate stereotypes. I dislike the fact that people think I should act one way because of my sex, personality, or nationality.
Yes.
I hate that people think I should like sports because I am a man. I hate that people think I should be a priest because of my personality. I hate all of this because people are creating a concept of me based in what they see, but not in who I really am. That really touched me, and I really want us to talk about what the cause and the effect of stereotypes could be. So what do you guys think about stereotypes? Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's very true because, okay, just like me, I'm gonna use me as an example. I'm outgoing. I'm boisterous. You know what I'm saying? I'm fun and laugh. People think that that's how you are all the time, and that you have this whole turn. People, when I go to work, sometimes they're like, "Oh, so how was the weekend? Did you party? You partied, right? You partied, right?" Not knowing I'm sitting in my house on my couch, flicking through which Nollywood movie I'm going to watch that's going to make some sense. So people assume because you are one way and what they see is you, but I'm totally different than what you perceive. And you need to get to know me before you kind of like, oh, how was this? Did you do that? Did you do this? And stereotypes do feed into that.
Does anybody know the definition of it though? What stereotype is? Can somebody look it up? What stereotype is? Before you, while you're doing that, I think stereotypes are bad regardless of whether it's good or bad. I think it's bad because it prejudges someone. You know what I mean? Instead of you getting to, you know the famous saying, don't judge a book by its cover. And that's what it's all about. You are prejudging somebody before getting to know them. You are prejudging a group before getting to know them. You are prejudging a country even, you know, before getting to know the country and what they're about. So I think it can go wrong. So people have to be careful about when they, you know, stereotype others.
Like you talk about Nigeria.
No, not at all.
He's not even trying to throw shades right now.
No,
I'm just asking.
Oh, like when I talk about Nigeria, when I talk about Nigeria, I don't
stereotypical
stereotype
things.
Nigeria.
You do.
I don't. I speak
do.
the fact. If
You do.
If there's
I mean,
something
you
going on
do.
in Nigeria and we are talking about it, that's not stereotype.
okay.
That's me telling the people the fact of what is actually going on.
Yeah,
and
but-
there's also an
We can
opinion,
agree to
but I'm not
disagree.
stereotyping it. All right, go ahead.
Okay, but you could say that you're not stereotyping Nigeria because we know that these things happen all over Africa.
Yeah. It
But
happens
the
everywhere.
fact that you point the fingers at a particular region that you have never been to, I don't think you've been to
Ever.
Nigeria, is stereotype.
Okay.
Whether you accept it or not.
Yes.
But my issue on stereotype is that it's unfortunate that people are being judged from a distance. And you said something like, you don't know me, you have to get to know me. Everybody cannot get to know you. They're still going to judge you based on, you know, popularity and speculations. And it's really deep because stereotype, according to the definition, it says it's a widely held but fixed
Notion.
and oversimplified image or idea of a particular person or a particular type of people.
Yes.
So the problem, the question is, how do we fix this narrative? I don't think stereotype discussing it is going to fix it, and I don't think it can be fixed, unfortunately, because everybody is a victim of stereotype. So stereotype is not a race thing. It's not for only black people. Even white people experience stereotypes. Do you agree with me?
Yes, but even it goes beyond that. So even within the black people from a certain part is expected to act or think a certain kind of way. And when you do see people from there, you just assume that you have that assumption that they're all the same. The whole world actually runs on stereotypes.
Stereotype, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
before you get to know someone, you first have a working
impression.
knowledge of where that person is from. Say I see someone from, for instance, from Ghana. I just assume, oh yeah, you're from Ghana. Oh, you guys eat kenkey there. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's never had kenkey. Maybe he just hates it. And I just assume, oh, you like it, right? I'm assuming that he likes it. I'm stereotyping him because he's a Ghanaian that he eats kenkey. So that pretty much goes across the board. People from all walks of life all tribes, all races would assume something of the next person.
Do you get offended by it when somebody sees you and say,
No,
"Oh, you're Nigerian"? Do you?
Honey, at work one time they're talking about something, and I said, I asked the person, I said, so how did you come to work? He goes, I didn't drive, my car's in the shop. I'm like, your second car in the shop. I said, so what, did you come here on a donkey? He goes, oh, yeah, you're African, right? So yeah, I would assume that you would know about donkeys. Yeah, and I said, so I told him, I said, it's funny you would say that because I've never seen a wild animal a day in my life. I've never been to the zoo. We don't have lions and tigers and elephants walking down the streets in Nigeria. You should educate yourself. You really should. That's me in a subtle way trying to correct that notion that he has that we run around, having wild animals or we have access to see wild animals. Because the notion is, as an African, you're accessible to all these wild animals that we don't even see in the safari.
Okay, but that's the bad side. Charlie said stereotype is bad in all dimensions. But the definition says overly emphasized, fixed. So do you know that there are some compliments to a particular region that people find pleasant? So do you call that stereotype? For example, they say, people from the west side, Yoruba people are very education conscious, they're very intelligent. Igbo people are very business, friendly. They are very good and successful in business. Is that stereotype or compliment?
It is a
stereotype, but it's not bad.
It can be bad because
impression.
you're not trying. It's a lazy statement because you're not trying to get to know them, right? It's a misconception of
but majority
what you
of the
think
people
they
from
are.
that side in history have been known to be successful in that aspect. That is why there's the hasty generalization.
I mean, you have the generalization, but you're not giving room to allow the person tell you about
That's
the
story.
story.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just saying, you're saying and you're imposing. You're like, you're an Igbo lady, Abby. You're from, I'm probably from Anambra State. You're from Anambra State. Oh, okay, so it means that you people are very, very industrial, so you must really like business.
And some people might find it as a compliment.
And you're not trying to figure out if I'm really into business or if that's my thing. You just assume, you have money, you will like business. You're telling me. You're not asking me, do you like business? Are you into, because I hear that people from there are a lot of times into business. Is that your thing as well? That's you giving me a room. You're not stereotyping me. You're just letting me that you have a working knowledge of where I'm from, but then you're trying to find out if that's something I do. Right.
So there's a well-known study done with on ABC News where they had 5 people. One guy had tattoos, piercings, everything. One guy was dressed in a suit, everything. One guy, of course, was of color. Different people, and they were like, "So pick out who the doctor is." And of course, everybody picked out the guy that was well dressed with his briefcase and everything. But come to find out, it was a tatted guy with the piercings that was one of the best cardiac doctors, cardiologist. So think about it in a sense that you can't, because when you just see him, you're like, he's a biker dude, or he's a raver, he's this, he's that, he's a tattoo enthusiast, whatever different things come up to your mind, or he's a criminal.
Yes.
Because some people thought he was a criminal.
That
was it. They said he was a criminal, but come to find out they were wrong. The actual criminal was the guy that was dressed in a suit, and he had just got out of, he had gotten out of jail. He was like a reformed, whatever. But still, to think about that is that you can't, like you really said, you cannot look at somebody and kind of assume who they are. You should really have those questions. Like, you should just be like, sometimes you can assume inside, but maybe don't say it. Because when you say it is when it becomes like, offensive. You are putting me into this box that I'm not in.
So taking that to the Nigerian to the African context, you see how the stereotype works in the foreign land. Back in Africa, is a little different. It's more like they judge, impose, and assume all in one. It's a compilation of all three. And they don't give you the room to explain yourself or give you the room to give paint a better picture to them. That this is not, whatever you think is not what I am, this is me. And even when you're trying to tell them that this is me, they still correct you. No, you don't do business and you're an Igbo lady. You're wrong, go. You should really go into business. That's something that you people do. And I'm telling you, and you're like, wait, I don't understand. I'm into media. Why are you telling me about business? I'm not. That's not my forte. But they impose on you. They assume. The stereotype is there. Just like saying that all people from Ogun State, Ijebu, like money. That's a stereotype. All right?
But do you know the internet, the social media has helped in doing the stereotype thing? Because people in Africa, when you see people forming with stacks of cash, forming with bottle popping on their pictures, or they're forming with this Gucci bags, this, that, and all of that, that is still, because some of those people don't even have that. They're borrowing somebody else's bag to take picture. They are not, that's not even their stacks of cash. But people feed into like, oh my God, this is somebody I need to know. I need to get to know because they're rich and they this and that. And literally, you don't know the person. You don't know what they really have. Because people that are really, even have the highest numbers of followers on social media, sometimes broke out in a joke. So don't fall for it, because it's just your stereotyping because they're this and they have this and they have that. And it's also, we are also drawn to material things. So when we see material, then we think that somebody that knows something, is smart, or has gone to school or done whatever. So it has different kind of connotations.
I was even thinking you were going to say people who slush things that are just automatically called Yahoo boys.
Yes,
and
yes,
stuff like that.
another
Because
one.
that's also stereotype.
Yes,
There are people
yes.
who just like to flaunt their wealth, even though they make money in a honest
So
way.
let's talk about the danger side of it, because you did mention about somebody pinpointing it, they could be criminals. So let's talk about the danger side of it. There's a lot of stereotypes about black people that are not true. You know, when you do that, that can lead somebody, you know, that can have somebody killed, that can have somebody sent to
Arrested.
prison, arrested. So what is the danger side? Let's discuss the danger side of stereotyping.
Yeah.
Just recently we've seen a lot of news, like, you know, you're just thinking somebody's something and they're not, and then you're feeling danger without somebody not even being next to you.
You have an example?
For instance, when that little boy was in the supermarket and the lady said, "Oh, he tried to molest me." The poor boy was trying to buy his little sweets and buy his little things in the supermarket, and then now she's calling the cops and authorities on a little child, and it was like, why are you stereotyping because he's a black boy doing that? And if he wasn't a black boy, same way the officer shot that man as he was in his own house, opened his own door, and came into his house and just shot him for no reason.
We've had a lot of examples where people are calling the cops because black people are barbecuing, because a black person is babysitting a white person's child. You know, that when you as soon as you see it, you go, you know, a lot of black men, you know, are into shooting on all of those things. So they stereotype them, and that can lead somebody, you know,
Dangerous situations.
So very dangerous situations.
Recently, I've been a victim of stereotype.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah, you're black, you have dreads. That's all. People have major
Exactly.
stereotypes
So
about
I was
that.
trying to get an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, and I applied online. My real name is Anthony.
Yeah.
You know, so my name is Anthony. So the lady called me. She's a white lady. She spoke to me. Anthony, when are we gonna show you the apartment next week? What? We arranged a date. I went to the address. I stood in front of the address. I was supposed to meet her by 3:30. I was there at 3:25. I was there from 3:25 to like 3:40. So I called her and she said, "Anthony, I'll be there in a minute. I'm just trying to get a parking." So I waited till like 4:30, standing there in the cold. So I called the lady back and she said, "Oh, I came, I didn't see you. You were not there." I was like, "It's not possible." I was standing in front of that place all the time.
Oh,
so
they
what
didn't
happened
see-
was
yeah.
she drove by, saw I was black, and she left.
Yeah.
Perhaps she thought because my name is Anthony,
You
I'm
don't
not-
look like an Anthony.
I don't look
what
like
does an
Anthony.
Anthony look like?
Maybe
You know what I
don't
mean?
know.
White.
you're
I don't know. But
And
that
in
was exactly what
relationships,
happened,
too.
because she was supposed to call me if she really came there. She actually drove past and she didn't call me.
Yeah.
So
That's
what would be the stereotype in your situation?
I'm black, I have dreads, I'm standing in front of a building. Maybe he's not a good guy, maybe he's black, maybe he can't, maybe he doesn't have good credit.
How were
many
you
things.
dressed?
Many
Were
things.
you dressed like your pants were down?
No,
You
my
know,
pants
like-
were not down,
No, I'm
though.
just saying, like, you know,
Yeah.
they judge all of those
Everything.
things.
So you
Yeah.
won't be
And
able
the
to
thing
pay.
is, everybody stereotypes one way or the other, and I'm really disappointed that you pointed me out from the beginning of the show, because you have also stereotypes as well. We all do it. So I think that the change can start with us respecting each other, respect my culture, respect me, respect my country. You know, learn from me. If you have any question, ask me instead of assuming. You can
right.
ask me, and then, you know, that's how we can also move.
Respect my country. If you
Yes.
have any question,
Ask me. Yes, you
Don't
do it
assume.
too. You do
Yes.
it too. So we
Don't
can make a
assume.
path.
Charlie.
We can make a path and keep this rolling, and, you know, moving forward, we can do that as well.
Yeah, I hear that,
also,
right?
But what
also
about in
think that-
relationships? When you're dating somebody, we
Yes.
stereotype people on what
Yes,
they're dating.
yes.
On how they look, what they're, you know, like, oh, what's going on? Look at their shoes sometimes. Look at what do they have going on? What's happening? You go vetting them and you stereotyping through their friends on social media or through who they hang out with.
Yes.
Because you don't know, because who they hang out with sometimes, they say people, what you're around is who you are, but sometimes it's really not like that. So we do that with dating as well, too. So like, how do you get like, you know, when it comes to those things, religion, because some people have certain types. Oh, this is not within that type. Why am I? Would somebody this height versus that height?
For preference,
like that.
you can't change people's preferences. You know, like the type of person they are attracted to, or who they want to date. But also speaking of relationships, let's also talk about career paths, because I also have a very big problem because I'm an artist.
Oh,
People
yeah.
don't believe
They also
that
can
Team
be
Money can never
stereotyped.
be in a serious relationship or anything. They just judge me once they
that's
see
a
me, my
stereotype,
personality, my social media, like, this one, there's no
I
need.
did
But the thing
too.
is,
So
when
it's
I was
hard.
watching.
It's hard
also
to get
derived
people
from
to
somewhere,
take me
though.
seriously.
The stereotypes like derived from somewhere, right? It came from somewhere. So where did they come from?
From our families, our parents. It's something that you learn growing up. Who your parents don't like. Like for instance, my mother has this thing against. Like she has this huge thing against Asians, and she kept on telling us this growing up, but I didn't, you know, use it.
What is she?
She just doesn't trust them. She just
Why?
She doesn't. She thinks that they're coming in, whatever, you know. In her sense, she has her own like in her thing. She thinks they're not nice people.
She
They
has
don't
had
like
an
black people.
experience.
I
Yeah.
had
That's
she's
what it
had an
means. She has had an
experience. She didn't tell me
experience.
exactly what happened, but she said they don't like black people. Why should I like people that don't like black people? So this is something that I've grown up with, but I didn't let it kind of impede me because I went to school and I went to school with Asians. I went to school with different people in that sense, but. Stereotypes comes from your upbringing, your peer networks telling you stuff about things, your friends. It's all about influence.
Also understanding past experiences too.
Yeah.
Things have happened that make people act the way they do. When you, like in your case, when you said the lady judged you based on the fact that you're black, you had the dreads and you were standing outside, you don't know what she has experienced. It could be that she's had clients in the past that just never paid their rent. People that look like you that just were not reliable, and she just assumed,
Really?
you know what? Black men with dreads are, and especially artists, and also tying into your career path, artists are notorious for cheating and running around. So those are things that can lead to one, you know,
So
going about with a
experience
stereotype.
changes impression. That's what you're trying to say.
That's-
Because, for
yes.
example, we know that, like, what happened to the Arabs, like, since the 9/11 incidents, anything that has to do with an Arab, if a white person, for example, drives into people, he has a mental problem. But if it's an Arabic person that drives into
a terror
people,
threat.
is a terrorist.
And also the media doesn't help, right? Because the media tend to shine the light
Yes.
on certain behaviors in certain communities.
Absolutely.
And the more you do that, the more it plays in our mentality.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it sticks. It ends up sticking.
It does.
You know? But I also feel like we also have a
Conditioning.
responsibility.
Yes.
When you go out, when you step outside of your house, you're not representing yourself. You're representing a whole clan, a whole country, a whole race.
Right.
And every decision that you do can affect how
next
people
generation.
view your culture, your country. So we also have that responsibility as well on us.
So it's easy for us to actually, you know, try to dissect or like put titles as to why stereotype is the way it is. But if you really want to get nitty-gritty with it, stereotype stems from happenings already.
Yep.
In Africa, we already know that there's been a whole history of rituals, 419 scamming. So if you're saying that they want to stereotype, like if you give them a passport at the airport and they see your name, they automatically assume that you're an African. Understand, you're an African and then you are a scammer.
fraudulent person.
Understand that a lot of people have come before you that have been caught in that light. A lot of people have smuggled drugs. I'm not saying that it's okay that they assume that everybody from Africa, but when the numbers are high and it's a repetitive, something that happens a lot of times, of course, they will just assume that, yes, so you that are coming, special search, you probably have drugs on you, of which 60% of the time when they have that, when they pick you out of the line and they search you, there's always something, maybe your history in the past points out to that. Or maybe the person that is actually attending to you in particular has had experiences where he came in contact with someone who did that. And so that mentality rolls on, and then he turns around and tells his children, oh, you know, when I was younger, this happened with this race. The children now the mind of the children is getting conditioned to think that people from this race are this certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Ghanaians are like this, Nigerians are like this.
Ignorance.
Now it becomes expected of them. So it's a shock when they see you and you say, oh no, I'm
Different.
perfect example. My coworker was telling me yesterday. She said herself and her fiance were in the car. You know, they were going somewhere and they got pulled over by the cops. Her boyfriend is well over 30, and the cops asked him, "Have you ever been arrested?" He said, "Excuse me." He took his information, ran it, came back and said, "So you've not been arrested?" He looked at him, "No." He said, "Why would you assume that I've been arrested? Because you're black and you're over 30." You're a black man. Stereotype. It has nothing to do with the race. It's the fact that you're a black man that's over 30 and you have never been arrested. So you can imagine. Now, take that. You don't know. Maybe the police officer can be a rookie. It's possible. But because news keeps telling us that when you're a certain age, you should start getting arrested from the age of 16 or 14 as a black man because of how the society is structured, it keeps happening and the mentality keeps going on. Africa,
Anyways,
Asia, Europe, even in Asian continents. In India, a black person in India, a black man in India is assumed that the person is here to do drugs or scam. Right or not or wrong?
Right.
They pick them up, they burn them, they chase them out. A lot of time when they catch them, what did they catch them with? Guns. Catch them with drugs. Catch them with computers, laptops, all for scam.
Based
so
on
people
history.
that experience all this, it's there. So how then are we not going to have a world where there's stereotype constantly?
And it's going to be very hard to undig it because it's so ingrained and it's so learned behavior and it's so like it's assumptions because you're assuming. Because it's so funny, like the scamming thing you were talking about, it didn't start in Africa.
Nigeria,
It started in Russia.
It started in Russia,
started
but
in
unfortunately,
Russia.
the summary of it all is the sins of the father dwells with the children now because we are like a positive generation, but the past bad records has created this whole impression that has become an assumption. So it's going to be hard to
But
deal
the
with.
Russia still have a bad reputation because of the scamming too, though. It hasn't gone anywhere. I also
It's not so in your face like it is about Africa.
The
though.
media.
Let's be real about
Yeah,
it.
it's
It's
what
not
the
in your
media is
face.
putting
It's not.
out there,
It's the media pushing it out. A lot of stereotypes are also like media is just the devil, the bane of existence right now, and social media because fake things and everything is going through. So you have to be able to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel because there's so much coming at
Even
you.
if it's not fake, it's
People also-
exaggerated.
People also do that because they like to put labels on things and it makes life more easier for them. So now I know who you are, or who I think you are. So I try to put labels on you so I can navigate through life to make it easier for them. It's a lazy way to live your life, and I hope people are learning from this. And
I
you
think
know,
that's another. What you just said now is true. It's another problem that we have. The world today, nobody really wants to take out the time. Nobody really we just want to settle. The labeling works perfectly well. In the world of today, where everybody's in a rush, everybody's in a move. Nobody wants to do research. Nobody wants to dig in. No.
Yeah.
Oh, he's African. Oh, please, he's
Yes.
a scammer. Oh, you're Yoruba.
and
oh,
please
you're Yoruba
stop
demon.
asking me whether or not I'm
Yes.
African if I can speak Africa.
There's
come
no
on.
African language.
It's like there's no African language.
I
You
mean,
know,
there's a word, there's a language, Afrikaans, but it's not.
Afrikaans is
African
a South
people
African
speak.
language that was coined by the what they call the Dutch people when they colonized South
colonizers.
Africa. So they didn't have a name for it, so
I
they
don't
called it
speak
Afrikaans.
Africa. Don't ask me that. We have
You
over
should go and
2,000
sleep with the
languages across
Afrikaans.
Africa.
Alright, so many.
So it's like, no. And most of these stereotypes come off racist, sexist, and
Yeah.
homophobic. So moving forward, how do we change this mentality? Because it is a mentality, right? How do we change this act of stereotyping one another?
Well, I think it all falls down to fixing the history. Because since we say everything comes from history, history created impression, and impression created assumption. So I feel like we, the new generation, can change the history. Fine. A lot of Nigerians have done 419. Fine. A lot of Ghanaians have done this and that. Fine. South Africans and xenophobia. Now people are scared of South Africans because they believe that they hate us, generally. So I think the new generation has to change the history. Because in the past, like 100 years ago, 50 years ago, we know that we had a different impression about the Chinese. But now the Chinese are known for creating ideas, technology, and everything. So they've changed that impression, even though they still have some loopholes, but that's not what the media knows about them. So I think this generation, we have to change history and make a new history for the next generation. That should be how to help stereotypes.
If they let us create it.
What do you think?
We
then?
can.
If they let us create it, because it's easier said than done sometimes, because we can create the history, but our history sometimes is written by somebody that is not us. So
That's why we
we
have to
also
write
need
it
to
now.
exactly, but that
New
also
one.
that's what I was gonna say to add on to you changing history. We have to capture our history. We have to capture it. We have to create. We have to write books. We have to make sure that people know what's going on and what's our rich history, because a lot of what we are is not set in stone.
watered
It's not
down
able to be found. It's
knowledge.
watered down. It's up. It's created by colonizers.
Yeah.
So
I
what do we?
definitely agree.
What can we keep for ourselves and create that our future generations get to see and do with and go from?
I think we also need to tell our own stories.
Yes.
Don't let these people tell our story.
Yes.
It is our story. Let us respect one another
Yes.
and draw the line from factual opinions
Fiction.
and rumors also. Okay.
You're right.
do you-
Before we start to rewrite, understand the stereotype first. Understand where it's stemming from, like we've all explained already, and then start your rewriting of history from taking the right steps from today. You cannot wait for the next person, put the burden to the next person. You take it on yourself and do what you need to do. let's make our country, our entire planet
Anyone
needs to
out there
change.
better place.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
All right.
It's a collective effort.
And also in going forward, the tools are there for us, free tools that we can create our own narratives. We can write our own stories. We can really set in stone so that these things don't repeat in another 50 years because they don't go away if you're not capturing it. So
Right.
making sure you, even just simplistic, they're free blog sites. They're free newsletter sites. They're free things. Just start creating, just start writing. It doesn't have to be the perfect writing, but it's something that we have and we can all create and eventually build something with it.
Nice said. Let us know in the comments your thought on this topic. Until next time, you're watching the ABA show. This is MinaTV. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. And if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.